found there were 7 men, and he had a gun when he found out. So
I am Lily Mae, creator of the Glambitious brand, and I am a super reality show enthusiast. So I definitely wanted to talk about what's going on Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you don't know, Shamia and Portia have been having a little dissension in their friendship, and it got me to thinking about how sisterhood can get messy, especially after 40. So then I gathered some of my real live sister friends on here for a little discussion about it. Okay, so I'm going to show just a little clip where Shamia was recently kind of getting emotional about the dissension, and then we'll jump into a little conversation about it. Hold on.
The world is picking up on the division and just like the fact that we're not really speaking.
Yeah.
I still give credit because it's hurtful.
Me and you us never apart. It really makes me sad to see friends break apart. So I'm definitely hoping that they come back together. But a lot of people have been saying online that Portia is jealous of Shamia. Shatoya, what do you think?
I mean, I'm like, the way that I think, it has to be more than that, because that just seems so surface and so just like, I mean, like, but of what? Because I always feel like if we have the same amount of time, I mean, not, this is excluding Beyonce. This is my friends. We all have the amount of time. If there's something that, you want to do, you can do it. There's really no point in being like jealous of somebody. But as I've gotten older, I feel like I'm genuinely starting to see that it really can be something as simple as people are just jealous of you. And it's just, that's hard for me to wrap my head around, because I'll be just like, wow. Like, it's not like we're comparing Beyonce to, like, it's just like you could do the same thing. If you really wanted to do that, you could do it. So it's just mind blowing to me. At 40, age I am, sometimes people are just jealous.
You're going in and out a little bit, but we kind of caught the end of what you said. Basically, that you're coming to the realization that people do be jealous, and they do get jealous of their friends. And so I was thinking, because Portia's absolutely gorgeous, successful, all the things, and I was thinking about how most people don't want to admit that they feel jealous feelings about something, but sometimes you're not jealous of the person, but you're jealous of the season that they're having. And so I think it's more of that with Portia and Shamia, that she might be a little jealous of the season that Shamia is having, because she expected to come to the Housewives, as a married woman presenting a very wealthy princess lifestyle. That crumbled apart, but then her best friend gets to go ahead and have that experience, and her best friend has a solid marriage, and her best friend is not married to a scammer, so it's like, I feel like low-key she could feel some type of way about the season that her friend is having that she just doesn't get to have. Now, go ahead.
I do agree with that overall, but not in this scenario, because we've seen Shamia on the show in previous seasons, even just like a peek, and there's always been like a weird dynamic with her and Portia. Like, I understand they've been lifelong friends, but
Oh, you're going in and out again. Can y'all hear Shatoya?
she's breaking up.
oh no, okay, what I need to do?
Okay, go ahead. We can hear you now.
I think that I feel like normally I do agree with what you said about being envious of people or jealous of people throughout a season, but we've seen Shamia on this show in previous seasons before, and there's always been a weird dynamic with her and Portia. There's always been something just kind of like, that they're friends, but it's just something weird with Portia and her. I don't know. I don't know if that's just like a friendship thing that we just don't, because we don't see the full thing, and because it is a real friendship, but there's always been a very weird dynamic between them. And Shamia has admitted that she's a people pleaser, so I think that has a lot to do with it. But you know how I feel about Portia Mama. We'll get there later.
Well, we're not talking about Portia Mama. We ain't gonna get there later.
It has a lot to do with it. She has a lot to do with it. She is the.
Oh, you're going out again.
Okay.
Yo, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I need to do.
I know, it was perfect for a minute.
It caught it. But I was gonna ask Aggie and Cherie, have you ever dealt with a friend of me or something like that, where there's tension in a friendship that you can't quite put your finger on, or what your experience has been like with a friend of me or a long-term friend, and things start to get weird?
Yeah. I have. It took me a minute to realize it though, because I didn't want to believe it, and learning the difference between a person envious of you versus being jealous. Because they envy, they want what you have, right? Jealousy is literally the fear of losing something. And I think that's what it is with Portia. It's not what Shamia has, it's not even her personality. It's the fact that this has been the dynamics of their friendship all this time. And now she's going to lose it to the point of Shamia getting a voice, using her voice, coming out of that shell. And she's just afraid of losing it. And I think it's fair without the internet. I think it's a rightful place for Portia to be in, because she is losing something. Now, she may be not addressing it the right way, but again, emotions don't ever come across the right way. When she have time to sit back and think, she'll say, like, I could have handled that different. I had to let go of 2 friendships just last year alone. One was envious of my marriage. I thought it was kudos, but it was my marriage that she definitely was envy of. And then the other one, she literally would like go out and buy everything I had on. Like, this was like copycatting. So I looked at it as admiration. But when the friendship ended, it came out, all the jealousy came out. And it shocked me, because it's like, I already don't let everybody close to me. But the fact that you two were close to me and I didn't even see all of this, but everybody around me saw it. So it was hurtful. I didn't try to save it though. Like, when it ended, I let it end. I let it be gone, because I already have been 100. And if this is how our friendship ends, then we're not friends. And so that's fine. But it's very hurtful. Tidbit also, I think Shamia is this crying all the time. Like, I think Shamia is just playing into the internet, honey.
Really?
Girl, because you are not completely innocent here. Like, you're not. I
What
agree.
she do?
More to it than just what we're seeing. Like, there's so much. They have been friends forever. There's more to it, and she is playing the victim. Like,
Really?
yes,
It's
absolutely.
interesting that you say that, because I don't watch the show as much, but I did see a clip for, I guess, this season where Shamia had something going on. Maybe it was her birthday, and her husband, I think, gifted her a car, and everybody was there, and Portia show up super duper late, looking like whatever. And it just felt, the energy was really weird to me. And I'll say this: I don't watch the show as much as I used to, but when I did, Portia always gave me a selfish energy. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is this idea of, I thought I had this dream husband. He's a scammer. He's gotten shit back to his country. Because I mean, if you think about it, Shamia has the life that she wanted. She even has a child with one man, her husband. He's a good husband from what we see of him. I would not be surprised. And I say that because Portia has a history of coveting other people's men on that show. So the person you know what I mean, who is happy with where they are, they're not doing that. Like her husband, she took from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? They may have been on the rocks, but it wasn't her place to step in and snatch them up. You know what I mean? So I don't really know that I feel like Portia is this. I don't know much about Shamia, and I can't speak to that, but I will say that I don't think that Portia is innocent. I think Portia knows how to play the game, and I think she's in a place right now because all the things that she wanted are not happening for her. But I do think there's a level of accountability that she's missing, because let's just be real, you ain't been moving too straight, sis. You've been doing some shady stuff. So that's just my take.
And you know what? With all that stuff that she do, Shamia is always very much like, well, it's my friend. I'm not gonna, I mean, so it's just like, and she's always been like that. Even when she was a friend of the show, she's always been very much 100% team Portia. But Portia lacks accountability. She lacks self-awareness, and she is very selfish. And it's because of her mom. But yeah,
Her mom.
that is already it. Miss Diane is a
She already said don't play about her mom, honey. She been warning Shamia.
Well, here's the thing.
Apple don't far fall, whatever how they said.
It don't. Even their family dynamic. Shamia's family has always felt very warm, welcoming. Even though they could see some weird stuff in Portia, they don't come off like Miss Diane did about Shamia. And let's be clear, Shamia's marriage she's been married to that man already. So if anything, it's like you were coveting this lifestyle. You were into, not that people can't change their types and preferences, but Dennis, you go from Dennis to this lady's husband that you met house is just kind of like, I don't know. It's just Portia's just not looking good at all.
Well, let's talk about frenemies because it seems like that is more of what the dynamic has been. Because from what we see, like Shatoya said, Shamia has always been like 10 toes down for her Portia, no matter right or wrong. Like on the new season, when Portia made the joke that she might sleep with Angela's husband, Shamia didn't really, check it. Like, I'm sorry, if one of my friends would have said, I was like, whoa, like we could be laughing,
Right.
Kiki, like, hold on now. I would have said something.
Yeah.
I'm not kikiing at that. I've never been a married woman, but I wouldn't find nothing about that funny. And Shamia still, kind of didn't really check it. And even after, Angela said, hey, Shamia, you're a married woman, you should check that in your friend. I don't want no friend that's sleeping with people's husbands. You can't be a friend of mine doing that, period. And
Check
so
your friend.
that part. So what do y'all think about that as it relates to like, checking a friend? Like, have you had to do that? Do you, kind of just mind your business? Like, what does that look like when you have to check a friend or you should check a friend? Well, we know Aggie ain't scared to check nobody. Aggie.
You saw my face, like, girl, I just say it for what it is. I mean, like that.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, and you know me, Lily, my thoughts on holding things like that back are you do more harm than you do good. We're seeing it with Diddy's trial, right? There's a lot of people saying, I wish I would have said, I wish I would have did, I wish I would have helped, I wish, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's more regret than anything. So to me, I'm going to be honest with you because I'm not a friend. And here's the other piece. More than likely, if I feel this way, I've called such and such, Kiki, and Kiki, whoever else, and told them how I felt when I could have just went to that person. So now I'm gossiping. So for me, I'm going to always take it to you because if you're really my friend, I'm going to be like, hey, what's going on? Blase, blase, you know what I mean? And then if you react a certain way, that's a different conversation. But that's just me.
Yeah, I'm very bold and I'm big on accountability. All my friends know. Well, first of all, they say I don't have a filter. Your delivery just be wrong. It's just like, come on. I used to have a bad delivery, but it's not bad anymore. But I'm going to definitely check a friend because I would want you to do the same for me. If I'm married and going down the wrong path, I need a friend to be like, girl, what are you doing? Come back over here. Don't laugh with me, pat me on the back. And I'm definitely not going to do it. I'm not going to be a part of it. I had a friend who was very close, ran a business together, and she was cheating on her husband. When her husband found out, he thought that I knew all along there were 7 men, and he had a gun when he found out. So when he found out, he went to her and then mentioned my name. And so now I'm like fearing for my life. And I'm like, and we're doing this work against domestic violence. So I'm like, don't wait a minute, don't put me in. I know nothing about it. I never knew. But that's dangerous. And had I known, and I told her when she told me, I said, I did not know all these men were involved. That's very dangerous. It's not okay either. So like, what did you expect? I've been there and it was a very dangerous situation. I left it because how dangerous it was getting. I don't know what happened after I walked away from it, but it's not cool. It's not a cool situation because that's how innocent bystanders get hurt as well in your mess. So if you don't check it, it can check you later on.
Okay.
True. What about you, Shatoya? You be checking friends, or I kind of feel like you might be a little nonchalant.
I'm kind of like
doing their own little soup.
Things
let her cook.
100% honest. Depends on how. I don't know. I just don't really like to be getting in people's business like that because it's like you just don't know. So it just depends on the level. Like I don't know if you're doing something. I feel on it, but certain people, I'm just like, I don't know. I like to just. It just depends. It depends for me.
I mean, I'm very non-confrontational, and so Aggie has always been coaching me to speak up more. But I'm a non-confrontational person. I don't like awkward conversations. But in the sense of something like someone laughing about sleeping with somebody else, man, like to me that's like, girl, that's not even funny. Yeah. So and we on national television, we're filming the show. Like, child, calm that down. So I feel like.
Yeah,
but it could have been just that. We know that Portia.
That I would say something about. Not even because we were on TV, because it's just like it was kind of just like cringe. Like that's just not even something funny. Period. I just don't even find it to be entertaining. Yeah. But if you're cheating,
She ain't different, not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna get into that. I just feel like, listen, I don't think you should be doing it, but as far as going any further than that, I'm not gonna get into that.
Just don't use my name. Say you was with me.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Right. I just mind my business. Like,
I've actually been that friend, and I tell my homegirl, hey, I don't agree with this, whatever, but I'm not gonna die on the sword for this situation because this is you and your marriage. I mean, my only obligation as a friend is to tell you and check you and say, nah, this is not cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
But to your point, Lily, about the statement that she made, think about it. People always think birds of a feather flock together. True. So if Shamia is complicit with it, it's kind of like, okay, so are you okay with that? Are you cool? And, I said this to you earlier. Sometimes when you see a character flaw in someone, even if it's your friend, right? And they do this to everybody else, because I've had a scenario with a friend where she would do really messed up stuff to everybody else around me. And I would always tell myself, well, she didn't do it to me. Well, she didn't do it to me. And then one day she did it to me. And I had to realize that a snake is a snake is a snake, And I feel that's why I feel the way I feel about Portia. I don't even have to watch the show to have, because I used to have an opinion about what's going on between her and Shamia, because I've seen Portia's ways and how she moves. And before you know it, Shamia, you're going to be next on the list, to be honest with you, if I'm being real.
But nobody is innocent, right? Shamia ain't innocent. And she's this country girl, good old housewife, good. Well, Shamia ain't been in the spotlight long enough. Soon something is going to come out of her, and then everybody going to be like, dang, I guess Portia wasn't lying. Like, we haven't exposed little Shamia yet. Like, she hasn't been through the fire yet. She just on the scene.
But listen, but what in the world? Shamia is like,
Shamia is that girl, but she ain't Real Housewife of Atlanta. Any reality show is going to bring out your dirt. Shamia has she's been the model. She ain't been on this show long enough for where everything is about to come out the bag. And then we're going to see, like, we get to really see her personality. We get to really see her character, because now there are cameras on her at all times. I think we're going to be like, dang, okay, so birds of a feather do fly together. We ain't know little Mia was over here. You know what I'm saying?
No. It do be the quiet ones.
I don't get that vibe. I don't think it's gonna be anything like that. I feel like this Portia is 100% wrong. I don't know. I don't think in the context of their friendship, Shamia has done anything wrong but be a doormat. I think that's her flaw. She has been a doormat. She a people pleaser, and somebody with a personality like that and a friend like Portia is not gonna end well. It probably would have been fine if they would have stayed off the show. But the fact that y'all on the show, other people are nitpicking at it and saying, "Girl, you gonna let her talk to you like that? How your friend Ben treating you like this has been fine?" It's never an issue. That's just like with these marriages on these reality shows. It's never an issue till it's being picked apart and examined by other people. It's like when you start accepting behaviors from people, you cannot get mad when they treat you a certain kind of way. You've allowed this. So don't make it be an issue now that we're on this show. I think that's what the biggest thing is. I mean, because it's like you've been being treated like this by Portia. We've seen it. So I think the main issue is that now we can really, really see she's a main character on the show. Like, even with the car thing, her showing up when the husband got, it's like her reaction. I feel like she got more mad because other people were saying stuff about it. Because like, this is how this girl is. Like, this shouldn't be a shock. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
But does that make it right though?
It does. It doesn't make it
but
right.
This side, I just had this conversation with Lily too about right. And this is my whole thing about it. Do not pretend to be so. And I know they've known each other since they were kids, but at some point you have to say, listen, how this has been going is not working for me. So it's not that it's right, but I'm going to be honest with you. I could be a person like that. If you and then 3 months in, you're like, hey, listen, I'm going to kind of be like, wait a minute. I mean, why were you allowing this? It's gonna probably be hard for me to kind of change my thought process or the way that I treat you because you've allowed this for so long. So yeah, I'm not saying it's right, but it's like, dang, it's what you've allowed me to do. So I don't know if I can change.
I don't know if I can change.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know.
That's insane. I don't know if I can change.
I'm
being honest.
Would you guys think that maybe they're just outgrowing each other?
I
do. Say that.
I do. I think that's what it is. And I'm telling you that right there, that is the saddest, most heartbreaking thing. Because it's like I feel like that's exactly what it is. Portia's going through something and she's she's broken, and I feel like where she is right now, she can't be the friend that Shamia need. And I mean, because it's like, look, she's going on with her children's health, and we're not even putting it at the forefront. Like I think we all kind of thought this may end up with you and Simon like this, but this lady's dealing with real life issues, girl. Like, why are you making this be so about you? Y'all almost made me forget. This lady's daughter has all these surgeries and these health issues. Like,
Who? Portia?
it's
No,
over. No,
Shamia's
Shamia's daughter.
baby daughter has had like a lot of surgeries and things like that. So it's like the conversation is never about that though. It's always about Portia and Simon, or Portia. And so you bring up a great point, Aggie, about friendships growing apart. I wanted to show a clip though. Let me get my clip back. Y'all were talking about, because there was a sit down and it got kind of, hold on. It got to what Shatoya said, like, it's like when she finally has the sit down, really hear it. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull it up. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Trying to get my back. Okay, here we go. I'll just show a little clip real quick. But Portia was, like Shatoya said, Portia was very like, girl, like almost like, I don't feel like hearing this. Like, because to like what Shatoya said, it's like, this is how we've been our whole life. And now it's a problem because she's finally speaking up. Yep. So let's take a little look. Hold on. 1 minute, please. 1 minute, please. Okay.
You know what you said? They would have to pay me more money for that. Yeah. Why can't we be that way? Why do we with me for the show? Why can't we be how we are off camera on camera? Yeah, I agree.
In this intense episode, long time.
Okay, that's enough. But anyway, it was very like Portia just wasn't trying to hear it. Like she just was not trying to hear it when all she had to do was say, I'm sorry. Like, all of you are right. Like, just acknowledge the girl feelings. I'm sorry I didn't show up to your wedding. I'm sorry I didn't show up to your baby shower. I'm sorry. I'm going to do better. But it's like didn't have any
your baby shower either.
I don't think so. I think that's one of the things they mentioned too. I hope I'm not wrong on that, but I think they mentioned that. And so instead of just taking accountability and apologizing, she had the attitude like, why now? Like, I'm tired. I'm so exhausted. I don't have capacity for it.
So she's selfish.
Game over. She does have a point too, though. She do kind of got a point. Like, girl, like with all this stuff going on, why now? Because these people saying something about it. Do you have an issue with our dynamic our relationship? Yeah. This right now, I have an issue with it when I'm not divorcing my husband and going through all this drama. So I'm sorry, unfortunately, because I may have a smidge of selfishness in me, Aggie. But I don't like it. I don't.
I mean, is it right? Like, my thing is, no. Is it right? Like, and I'm gonna go back to Diddy again. You know, it's the talk of the town, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody, there are people out there who are saying, well, she should have did this. Cassie did this, and she was complicit with this, and da 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 da. But that's, you know, what he's on the trial for. Is it right? Mm-hmm. Was he supposed to do that? And no, he was not. So to me, yes, it's a whole nother conversation, Shamia. You shouldn't have been a doormat for 20, 30 years or whatever. But is it right? Are you really being a friend treating her like that? And the answer is no. Portia is just really good at deflecting and playing the role. And even in doing that, she's making about her. I'm tired. Child, you ain't tired. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real.
This is on Portia. She's tired of the whining. It is. She's tired of it because this ain't how it's been. Like, I think Portia has, I think she has a right to go through this phase when ending a friendship. And I haven't been one to treat a friend like that, but I can imagine, I know that I have been one that delivered stuff the wrong way. And my friends felt bad about it. It took me a few years for one to really sit me down and say, like, we know it's coming from you, but it's the way you say it. And then I had to think about it like, well, damn, that's hurting my friend's feelings. So I shouldn't be saying it like that. I think Portia has every right to go through the season that she's in right now because Shamia and her have been having that type of friendship. That's all they know is that type of friendship. Mia belongs to Portia. This is my friends, my doormat. She gonna have my back. That's it. Now you want
doormat.
to here and be on the Sesame Street, and now all these people want to be your friend, and now they want to point out everything that I'm doing, but you never had a problem with it. I think that Portia is going to eventually see the issue here. Prayerfully, they can come back together, but I also prayerfully that Shamia now understands the power of her voice and having, but it probably still ain't a problem to Shamia. She don't. It's just everybody talking about it.
That make it the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that to what Aggie said is still not right, but to what Cherie said is like the timing. And I think what Portia is saying is we're doing this for TV. That's what it's feeling like. I mean, we are. We literally sitting down in front of each other having this conversation for TV. And you ain't never said this on the back end, so I don't have the capacity for this part. So that I actually see, because it's like, girl, we got to sit down, have this fake conversation, this fake dinner. I'm not gonna be so that part I could see where it's like, girl, I can't be real and authentic with you, and we got the cameras on us. Let's be real, we're friends. That's true. Because if I was like sitting down with Shatoya and then she said, and the cameras are on, and suddenly she have all these problems with me, I probably would be a little annoyed. Like, girl, what? Because the cameras rolling, and now you got all these problems. So actually, that was a great point, Cherie.
Honey, you worried about your feelings. Come on.
I didn't think about that. But to your point earlier too, Aggie, about them growing apart, because I hope they come back together. I love friendships lasting a lifetime. When it comes to growing apart from people after 40, because I feel like, I mean, a lot of my friends, Aggie laughing because she already know my friendship circle has went from here to here. Like as the older I get, the less tolerance I have for friction, the less tolerance I have for, people not showing up for me when I show up for them. It's like, so my friendship circle has definitely become like this. And I'm quick to let somebody go on about their business, not even from a bad, malicious place. I wish you well, but I'm good. So as far as releasing friendships, what has that been like for y'all after 40, letting people go on about their business?
I think, like she said, definitely you outgrow people. Like, so on the girlfriend edition of my show, Say Something with Cherie, the girlfriend edition, we talk about those things. And most of the time when that friendship is growing out of place and it's outgrowing each other and there's some friction there, it's because somebody lacked boundaries, Shamia. And when you lack those boundaries within, you find yourself trying to put them in place, the friction grows more, right? And then if you don't sit down and have accountability, like my husband and I, we have check-ins every week. We check in on the marriage. Here's some things you said you were going to do. Here's some things you've gotten better at. You still got to work at. Am I a good wife? Am I a good husband? What could I do better? What are your goals personally? We check in and make sure we hold each other accountable. The same thing with friendships. Like, girl, tell me, let's just come over my feet up. What's wrong? Like, what did I say? How are you feeling? If you have those regular check-ins, then you don't have to worry about outgrowing each other. But I have to say, it's the friendship that you don't talk to the most that lasts forever.
That's true.
Right? My best friends still to this day are in Ohio. Both of them went high school together. The friends I've met in Georgia have been on rotation. There are a few that stuck close, Lily, but we don't talk all the time. So we just pick up where we left off. But I think that definitely when it's time to let it go, the friction has been ignored. And so now there is no time to mend it because everybody has their own opinion. And child, now we're over 40 and it don't even really matter what you say is what I say. And it just gets uglier. So if you don't have those check-ins, it's going to happen. But to your point, Lily, I'm quick to let them go too. If it ends, it ends. Yeah. And one thing I learned about me this year, I learned that new relationships are refreshing. I used to didn't want to connect and make new relationships, but now I'm like, no, girl, like it's so refreshing to you. I love it. You may not get full access, but just building new relationships is refreshing.
And it's necessary. I mean, it's very rare that you carry certain people throughout every span of your life. If you've known somebody for 20, 30 years, think about how much span of your life that is, and you're becoming this person. So, I mean, they're just not in the same space. She's in her divorced or whatever they did, divorced, mending myself, single mom phase, and Shamia is in her I'm married, whatever phase, and they're living
3-time divorce. 3-time, right? Was it Cordell, Dennis, and now so
I don't. Her and Dennis didn't get married. I think they were just engaged. I think, but yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I've had the same friends for like 20 something years, and so when Lily is going through,
you frozen up. Repeat it. Hold on, we can't hear you. Start over.
I've had this friends for about 20 years, the same core group. I've not made any new friends in 20 years, I'm not a very like
I love
friendly person. Like I'm not an outgoing person. So
Yeah, you are
I like
actually. You're very
look,
outgoing.
surface. Surface. I would never invite any of those people in, actually be friends with them. Lily. Like be for real. Like I've known the same people since like middle school and they're still my friends. I talk to them on a regular basis. So, we've had our seasons, but I've never had like no real friendship breakups in 20 plus years because I still have the same friends. And now I think about it, that is I know I never somebody I met that I hung out with other than the same friends that I've known. I don't
That's true.
know.
You don't have any new friends.
it.
You haven't introduced me to nobody. Like I'm like
Really,
going through like who have you introduced me to that's new? You have not
nobody.
introduced me to nobody that's new since maybe 11th grade when you introduced me to Janine.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
I
11th
don't have any
grade.
friends.
Hey,
I
you
don't.
introduced me
I
to
don't. I
Janine.
mean, we done had our ebbs and flows, but
Hmm,
I
that's
don't
crazy.
know. I don't really. We don't. I mean, when I had an issue with my very best friend that I've been friends with since sixth grade, it was hard. Like look, Lily said, I could be a non-confrontational person at times, especially when it comes to people I really care about. So with that being said, I had some issues with some stuff going on. I had actually gone to other people that like family members and another mutual friend
You
do some
froze
things in their
again.
personal life. They were going through some things in their personal life that I feel like was affecting our friendship. And although I didn't bring that up exactly, I did find the courage to have that conversation with them, which was hard for me because even though I'm kind of like a, let people know how I feel type person, when I really care about somebody, I really want to make sure I use the right word. So it was really hard for me to say something to her about it, but I was able. So it is sometimes kind of hard for me to understand people do have gonna say weird dynamics, but these dynamics and friendships that mimic like a relationship, it's like if it's that hard, I don't know. I just feel like that's a friendship. So why is it so complicated and so many? I don't know. That's odd to me. I if I've gone through that and like sometimes I see friendships mimic their relationships, and I just feel like if it takes that much effort, then why are we friends? Because it's just like so I don't know. Stuff like that is weird to me. But I do now in having this conversation with y'all, I'm realizing is it weird that I haven't made any friends?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
A little bit.
oh,
A little bit.
I
Yes.
mean, you maybe you don't prioritize friends.
That's what I think. I think
I mean
Shatoya
my
has a
friends
busy
I have,
life.
but meeting new
You
people,
don't
I
prioritize
don't
the
do
ones
that.
you have. You don't prioritize building new
With new
relationships.
people. Yeah, like you're
Yeah,
not
no, like
effort.
I can't even imagine it. It just seems weird to like, but okay.
I can imagine it.
Yeah,
This
and
is
like
good.
and funny thing is because I feel like I've changed a lot, and that's what has caused some of my friendships to dissipate because I've changed, and so then the way that they have now bother me to the point of like the Shamia and Shamia and Shatoya, Shamia and Portia of it all. This person has been a complainer chronically my whole life. And now I can't take it. You can't call me every day complaining about your husband. You can't I don't have the capacity to hear you complain about your husband every single day. But you've listened for 20 years, Lily. Like, why is the problem now? Because now I've evolved, I've changed, I've grown up, life has happened to me, I have things going on. And so for some reason, hearing that chronic complaining is aggravating my spirit now. So now this friendship can't continue because I'm changing, and it's not you, it's me. Like they say, it's not you, it's me. Literally, it's not you, it's me. It's me. I'm the problem. Okay, I don't want to hear it.
Did
So
you have a conversation before those friendships ended?
I had countless conversations. I would even say, "Hey, let's try not to complain for a week." Like I'm joining in the challenge.
Great challenges.
I'm trying to keep it together because one thing about me, I love my friends, and I used to pride myself on maintaining friendships from childhood. Like I was so proud of that. Like Shatoya, me and her been friends since we were 12. So I'd be feeling proud. Like yeah. And then as I got older, I couldn't take pride in that anymore when it causes friction and you wearing me out, calling me complaining every day. I can't do it. So then that friendship has to come to an end. I love you. I wish you well, but I can't continue. So sometimes when you're evolving and you're changing, then that friendship comes to an end. And it's not even a fault to that person, but you're different now. And so That's what I meant. I just, I've grown very comfortable with releasing people. And to Aggie's point or Cherie's point, I forget which one of y'all said it. I've grown comfortable with meeting new people and allowing new people. It's like God takes and God replaces. Like one of my new friends, Aggie, actually introduced me to Erica. Shut up, Shatoya.
Shatoya, you don't want no new friends.
No new friends. Like, look, I got the square with the no new friend down there, okay? But, me and Erica have a lot in common. And to Cherie's point, it has been refreshing because I've had other friends that I'm not talking to or they're out of season. And then this new friend comes in where we're like-minded in entrepreneurship. We're like-minded in our faith. We both single and out there on that struggle bus. So
that struggle bus though.
We on the
show called the struggle bus.
The bus got one wheel, girl. It's still going though.
Look at she on that bus with me. So it is refreshing because some of my other friends are married or have partners. So me and her have that in common. So it's not like I bring in a whole load of new friends. I don't think. Would you say not really a whole load? Shut up.
It's shocking though, because
but I bring in,
want to be your friend. Like literally, they like, oh yeah, I know Lily made this, and I was like, you're not her friend. Know her.
Right.
Like she said, Shatoya set up on that one. Exactly.
Shatoya is like, no new friends, no new friends.
Not her
friend. Next time
Cherie, you might be a woman after my own heart. I'm trying to tell her.
Like, stop it.
Next time they say they're your friend, Lily, ask them how many wheels is on that bus. If they can't tell you how many wheels is on that bus, they ain't your friend.
It's been a long road. What about you, Aggie? Because I feel like you pride yourself on maintaining a lot of different types of friendships.
I do maintain a lot of friendships. I ain't gonna lie. That's always been the case with me. But I also am very honest and direct with people. I don't do well with passive aggressive. So most of my friends are going to know where they stand with me. And if it's not something we can solve, then we just grow apart. But I don't generally have a scenario where I have to grow apart with you because I speak my mind. And then, what I'm saying, we work it out or we don't work it out. You know what I mean? And usually people respect you when you are honest about where you are, particularly because they don't want to hear it from somebody else. You know what I mean? They don't want to talk to such and such over here. And they go, you might want to call Aggie. You know what I mean? And you didn't hear it from me. And I think that might be part of the problem for Portia too is, it's all this controversy when you could have just called me and we had coffee off the air and talked about this thing, but you making it a big hoop de ha. So I feel like it's a coupling of how Shamia probably has felt and also the publicity, lights, camera, action, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So, but yeah, I don't have a problem with, being honest. So I don't know. I don't feel like I've come out of friendships a lot, but I also am blessed to have friends who respect the fact that I be needing space sometimes. Like I'm not going to talk to you every day and that kind of thing. And it's not an issue when we come up, we come together, we have a good time, and then we go on about our business, that kind of thing.
It could have been a phone call. When I think about it, because I just watched all the episodes basically in like one day, Angela is the one that really kind of started this. It was like Shamia didn't really even say anything bad. I couldn't understand how it got this big, but that's how you know that there's a crack in things because what Shamia said was not that huge that it went to the point. I mean, as soon as Angela said it, Portia was like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, if somebody would have said something like that about one of my friends, I would have been like, oh, "Okay, well, we'll talk about that." It wouldn't even went any further. So there's already some stuff going on there because that's not even like a normal. Angela, you don't. That's like a stranger. You've known Shamia since y'all were like in like preteens. Why would you automatically? And y'all already had an issue with each other. Why would you automatically believe this lady? That was just, it was all so weird to me. So there's something deeper going on there that, like one of you guys said, the stuff that maybe we're not seeing, but what we're not seeing is that Portia, Shamia is finally speaking up. It's just weird that she's doing it on camera. So I think it makes it probably be like, maybe less valid to her because that is kind of weird.
You just don't walk in.
Like if we're real friends.
Mama just walk, they can see you.
Hey, Mama.
And maybe Angela was jealous of their friendship. So she had to point that out because it's like if you get a ride or die like Shamia and you ain't never had it, and you watching Shatoria just be
I
Lily's
definitely
backbone,
think so.
she might could be let me be my backbone girl because I ain't never had it, you know.
That's true. And a lot of people don't have like a ride or die friend like that. So I mean, from childhood up on, that's hard to maintain. That's real hard to maintain. So it is unfortunate, that they let the show be, the crux of the ascension. But I think they'll make their way back to each other because seeing the clips of Shamia being emotional about it like that, I mean, I feel like I am a crying somebody, and I don't be crying when my friendships going about their way. Like I really don't. Like even the longest of friendships that come apart, I don't feel moved emotionally like that about it. So the fact that Shamia is moved that emotional, that's deep. That I think they're gonna make their way back to each other.
Now she is eating it up right
I don't know
now.
if they should though.
I don't know if they
I
should.
think they should. I think it should be a learning lesson for both of them. And they should be able to come back and it'd be a testimony when they're 80 and 90 years old. Like, I feel like you should. I mean, it's okay to go through that and say, I used to be territorial over my friends. I probably am still a little bit. Like I told you, they're not Lily friend. I am still a little territorial over my friends. But it took me some time to grow out of it. I grew out of it myself in my mind. I kept saying, like, well, it's okay for her to go out to lunch with her. But the other part is like, no, because she met her through,
I used to be like that. I I did not want my friends to commingle.
no, get on.
Oh, okay. So they're
We
opposite.
want
Okay.
everybody to eat. It's just like, gatekeeping your sources, your resources, whatever you use in your business. It's like that person can't just eat off of your services. They need more to continue to be an entrepreneur. So you want to share. And it's the same thing with friendships. It's just hard when somebody else new come in. So not only did new people come in, the whole world came in on the camera. I'm not team any of them. But I feel sorry for Portia because she is actually having this moment of separation anxiety on national television. And Shamia is eating it up.
That's so interesting that you have so much empathy for Portia because that's
She
not a
does.
popular
She
opinion.
does.
I'm very shocked about that. And I'm
No,
very
it's
shocked.
Portia, it's friendships. Like I have learned so much about friendships in the past, probably since COVID. In the past 5 years, I've learned so much about friendships and I've evolved in friendship. I used to didn't like women. I didn't want to hang out with them. I only wanted homeboys. Like I just learned so much. And there's friendships that I wish I could go back and heal because I was the problem, like the way it ended. And then there are some where it's like, you ain't never got to talk to me again. We ain't got to mend nothing. I don't care if you're sorry. Go talk to Jesus. But I just learned that in my time, like nobody is perfect. And I feel like we all need that grace to grow. Portia is going through a whole lot and Shamia is her best friend. And it's separation anxiety. But I'm not team Portia. Let's not get that.
Well, here's the thing. Because I mean, I love both of them as a TV personality. Honestly, Shamia surprised me this season because as a friend of the show, I didn't see it for her at all. I didn't understand. I'm like, but as a star, I'm like, girl, like you've been holding back. Like she's giving everything. So I love both of them as TV personalities. But one thing I think Shatoya kind of just said is like, because I was like, oh, I hope they come back together as friends. That's me loving friendship. But it's like to what Shatoya said, should they though? Because I don't think Portia's really going to change who she is. That's the thing. Nobody's changing at 43. Like, let's just keep it all the way real. Nobody is going to be a whole new person at 43 unless God touches the top of their head. So I think the friendship will come back and then it'll get back to the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shamia gonna be okay with it as long as she's not on the show.
She's gonna be okay with it.
Well, so if she wants the friendship to work, she need to get off the show, and then it will.
I personally don't think they should come back. I don't really like how Portia moves, and I wouldn't want no friend who's sleeping with people's husbands and doing that kind of stuff. I just feel like that's who she is, and so it's only a matter of time before she creep in your door. That's just how.
Okay, but then your child would be having funerals and stuff. See, well, I guess either way it goes, Portia gonna learn a lesson, huh? If she friend her or if she don't, either way it goes, it's gonna be a lesson learned.
Well, this was a great conversation, friends. I've been wanting to have this conversation about when sisterhood gets messy for a long time because I feel like people don't really talk a lot about maintaining friendships after 40. It's not easy because life gets harder. Life starts life, and there's so much we go through in our 40s that gets real, as we see with Portia and Shamia both going through things. Like Portia's going through divorce. Shamia has the health issues with her children. There's serious things that they're both going through, and it's hard to have the capacity for people when you're going through it on either end. And so I'm glad we were able.
Where's the one friend? I was going to get off, but where's the one friend? Because they share the same circle pretty much. I don't know how close, but where's the one friend that tries to be the mediator in real life, not on cameras? But where's that friend that's like, y'all, come on, let's talk. Let's get to the bottom
There's
of it.
no three. There's no three. The dynamic has been the two of them because nobody else can stomach. They couldn't have a third person. It's the what they got going on.
But Shatoya, the way Shatoya tell it, they don't need no third person.
They don't. They literally do not.
I mean, I can understand it though. I was in that scenario, and I did have a third person who kind of stepped in and was like, "Okay, you're both dealing with something, and I can see her side, I can see her side, that kind of thing or whatever." So it is necessary. It's necessary.
Well, but sometimes a trio can get tricky.
It can. I would never do an odd number.
I feel like we have, but Shatoya, I feel like we have a little bit of a trio, and
we do, and I don't like it. So
I know.
I love it.
I can deal with like
the gang, and I get in.
Put the trio together. Let the story show.
If it was a fourth person, that might be okay. Like I would never go on a trip with 3 people. I just wouldn't.
I mean, I can see that being
hotel wise, and concert wise,
what you want to do wise.
Yeah, and then I just feel like it's better to have like an even number. It just seems like it'll just work out better that way. Even we talk about reality shows too. If you notice on the girls' trips, they got to have like the 2 different groups because it's just the dynamic. I mean, I'm not one of them people that I like women and stuff like that. I love women. I've always had pretty much. I don't have no bad history of stuff like that. So I truly am. I truly do feel like I'm a girl's girl. But with that being said, though, I'm extra cautious about everything. So I just wouldn't, even with our little trio that we have, both of them are my really good friends. I love them dearly, but I would not feel probably comfortable going on a girls trip with just the 3 of us because I just feel like sometimes things can get. You remember when the other trio went and how that turned out? It's something that happens, and this has been scientifically proven as well. There's like statistics behind this. I'm a true person, and I'm telling you, there's some real statistics behind going on trips with odd numbers of people. It doesn't end well. So.
I went on a trip with
Lily.
Need a third person. Lily stayed in the bed. The other
one. Oh, you're talking about with Keon. Trip with 3.
The 3 of y'all.
The third person was a guy. Hold on, the third person was a guy.
That's different then. Yeah, that's different. Had it been a girl, it'd be a different conversation.
Yeah,
we'd be hearing the story.
It was a guy, and that was a fun trio. But that is true. It was different because the dudes are dudes. Well, y'all, thank y'all for coming on here with me. I love this. This was so much fun. If you're tuning in, make sure that you like and subscribe to the Glambition Network channel. I'm going to do way more of these discussions, but I do want you to get in the comments and tell me about a time when your sisterhood got messy. Like, what are your friendships looking like in this season after 40, or even if you're in your 30s? Like, what are some of the dynamics in your friendship? So let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share for more content, and also visit my Instagram page. I am Lily Mae, to let me know what you thought about this episode of, I don't know, I don't even know what I'm calling this, but we're just going live. Okay, going live with my gals. Going live with my gals.
Live with my gals.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lily.